The light flickers overhead, casting brief shadows across the sterile walls. Silence in the morgue is different, not the absence of sound, but the presence of something that doesn't belong. It presses in, suffocating, yet still. The clock ticks away, its mechanical rhythm, a futile attempt to tame the unsettling stillness. There is something about this room, something that doesn't wait for the dead to depart. I don't think I was meant to be here. Not like this. Anyway, my name is Helen, 29, and I've been a nurse here for 2 months. Every shift has been a slow adjustment to the weight of the space, the overwhelming quiet that follows death. It's the kind of silence that demands attention, like it's hiding something, whispering in between breaths. But tonight, something is different. I can feel it. Something pressing into my chest, making it harder to breathe. I'm used to the smell, the faint antiseptic scent that clings to the walls, the metallic undertone of death that lingers long after the bodies are wheeled away. It becomes a part of you after a while. You stop noticing it, just like the way the fluorescent lights hum softly in the background. But tonight, the smell is sharper, more insistent, and I feel my chest tighten every time I inhale. As I walk down the long corridor, past the small rooms and empty beds, I can't shake the feeling that I'm being watched. It's irrational. I've walked these halls 100 times, alone in the dead of night, checking on patients, signing off charts, but tonight, my steps echo too loudly. My shadow dances too wildly on the walls. I try to shake it off. I'm being paranoid. It's the quiet playing tricks on my mind. Then I reach the hallway where the old woman's room is. Mrs. Calloway. She's the one I promised to open the window for. She wasn't a patient I had directly cared for, but she had a way about her, a gentleness that lingered in the air long after her whispers had faded. I remember her request, the night I first met her. Just open the window for me. I need the wind before I go. She was nearing the end, and her skin had already begun to pale. I told her I would, of course, but I forgot. I was busy with another patient, and by the time I returned, she had already passed. I promised myself I would go back, that I would open the window for her, but I never did. I could never bring myself to walk into that room after her passing. Not after the way she looked at me when I failed her. A haunting look, empty, tired eyes that told me all I needed to know. She was gone, and I hadn't kept my promise. As I stand outside her room, I feel something heavy in the air. The lights above flicker again, and I'm reminded of the last time I saw her, the way she stared out the window, longing for something she would never touch again. I take a deep breath and push the door open. The room smells different now, like the air was left to stagnate. There is no fresh breeze. The window is shut tight, and I can't remember if I was the one who closed it. Maybe it wasn't closed at all. Maybe it was always meant to stay open, left ajar in some strange, impossible way that only the dead could understand. I walk to the window and hesitate. The curtains are still, as if they've never moved. I reach to open it, and that's when I hear it, a faint sound, like a soft sigh. At first, I think it's just the wind slipping in from the cracks, but then it grows louder, and it's unmistakable, a sob, barely audible, but desperate. My heart stutters in my chest. It's coming from behind me, from the bed. I spin around, but there's no one there, just the empty sheets, the vacant eyes of the room. The sobbing doesn't stop. I stare at the bed for a long moment, my hands still resting on the window latch. The air feels thick, as though the room itself is holding its breath. I can feel my skin prickle, my pulse quickening, and I realize the sobbing is not just from the air. It's coming from a place inside of me, a place that I've tried to shut away. Guilt, regret, the suffocating weight of promises broken. It's not just the wind or my imagination. I can hear it, clearly now. The sobs aren't just faint whispers. They're real. I know it sounds crazy, but I know what I heard, and I know who it came from. I turn away from the window, but the sobbing doesn't stop. It echoes in my mind, louder now, like it's inside my head. I need to leave. I need to get out of here. The weight in my chest is unbearable. The breath I try to take only fills my lungs halfway. I turn and walk back to the door, my feet feeling like they're dragging in water, every step slow and heavy. But before I leave, I glance back one last time. The window is still shut, and the sobbing has faded into nothing. I leave the room and shut the door behind me, but the sobs don't fade, they stay with me. A reminder of the promise I never kept, a promise left unfulfilled, just like the wind that never touched Mrs. Calloway's skin. I don't go down that hallway anymore, not after tonight, but sometimes, when the wind is just right, I can hear it again. Her whisper, a plea for something I can never give, and it lingers with me, long after I leave the building. The hallway is always quiet, almost unnervingly so. The fluorescent light buzzes overhead, flickering in time with my heartbeat. The floor creaks with every step, and yet there's always an echo. A voice, faint but clear. I don't look back. I never look back. My name is Helen, 29. A night shift nurse here. I've been working these shifts for just over 2 months. But this hallway, this place has been here longer than I can remember. The air is thick, like something pressing down from above. I often find myself standing still, lost in thought, listening to the faint whispers that seem to come from nowhere. It could be the wind, I tell myself. The old building creaks in strange ways, and the halls seem to bend in odd directions. But I know better. I know the place has a way of talking when you're alone, especially late at night. Tonight, something feels wrong. The usual hum of the hospital is quieted, like the very building is holding its breath. I turn down the hall that leads to room 213, where the elderly Mrs. Calloway is resting. She's been with us for several weeks now, and I've seen her every night. A quiet woman, who always speaks in whispers. She doesn't speak much anymore, but I know she's waiting for something. The window in her room is always open. She's asked for it a few times, requested the breeze. "Just a little air, dear," she would say, her frail voice barely audible. "I need it before I go." I always promised I'd open it for her, but there never seemed to be enough time. I'd tell myself I'd do it later, after the rounds were done, after the patients were settled, but later never seemed to come. The room is always dark when I enter, the curtains drawn against the night, the faint scent of antiseptic lingering in the air. Mrs. Calloway is always there, always tucked under her blankets, the covers pulled high as if she's afraid of the cold. Even though she never seems cold, it's as if the room itself is warmer than the world outside. She always looks the same, her pale face resting against the pillow, her frail hands folded over her chest. The only sign of life is the slight rise and fall of her chest, slow and rhythmic like a clock winding down. But tonight is different. Tonight, the window is wide open. Yeah, I don't remember opening it. The air that slips through the cracks is cool. Too cool for this time of year. I stand in the doorway for a moment, watching the curtains sway in the breeze. I can hear the wind outside, soft and persistent, as if it's whispering something to me. It's so quiet, I almost don't notice the soft sound of sobbing coming from the corner of the room. I freeze. It's faint, barely there, but it's there. I turn, but Mrs. Calloway is still in her bed, her face turned toward the wall, her body motionless as ever. The sobbing continues, coming from nowhere, filling the room with a quiet desperation. My heart skips a beat, and I walk closer, unsure of what I'm about to find. When I reach the edge of her bed, I notice that her hands are no longer resting on her chest. They're by her sides, and her fingers are twitching ever so slightly. I've seen her hands like that before, but only when she was awake, and yet the sobbing doesn't stop. It's not coming from her, it's coming from the room itself. I look around the room, trying to understand what's happening. The window is still open, but the room feels suffocating. The sobbing grows louder, more frantic, as if something is desperately trying to escape. I walk closer to the window, pulling the curtains aside to look outside. But there's nothing, no one, just the empty night. I turn back to Mrs. Calloway. She hasn't moved. Her breathing is slow, shallow, but it's steady. I should close the window. I should shut the room off from the outside world, close her in where it's safe. But I hesitate. Something about the sobbing, something about the way the room feels. It's wrong. It feels like something is waiting. I pull the window closed, the cold air rushing out. But the sobbing doesn't stop. It's inside the room now, inside my head. I feel it deep in my chest, a heavy weight pushing against my ribs. I glance down at Mrs. Calloway again. She's still there, still breathing, but there's something different now, a stillness that wasn't there before. I can feel her eyes on me, even though I know they're closed. It's as if she's trying to tell me something, something I've missed, something I should have seen before. I walk to the door, glancing back one last time before I leave. The room feels empty now, quieter than it's ever been. The sobbing is gone, but the weight of it lingers. I should have opened the window for her. I promised I would. I promised, and I never did. I don't go down that hall again. I avoid it, telling myself it's nothing, that it's just my mind playing tricks on me. But sometimes when I walk through the hospital, I can hear it, faint, like a soft whisper on the wind. It's Mrs. Calloway, still waiting, and the window I know will never be closed. Not now, not ever. It's always the same. The clock ticks at an agonizingly slow pace, each second dragging its feet across the floor. The break room is sterile, too clean, like a place meant for something or someone that never arrived. The walls are white. The lights flicker overhead in rhythmic bursts that mirror the beats of my heart. Each hum and click becomes part of the atmosphere, a familiar sound, but tonight it feels off, as if the room is holding its breath, waiting for something, waiting for me. I'm Greg, 33, and I work the night shift as a morgue attendant. For the most part, my job is simple enough. I move bodies, prepare them for storage or autopsy, and keep the place running. Nothing extraordinary, or at least that's what I tell myself. The hours are long, and the silence is often deafening. Over time you get used to it. You don't hear the things you should, or you do, but you don't react to them. You learn not to be disturbed by the squeal of the refrigerator doors, the sudden sharp clang of metal against metal, or the flickering lights. These are things that come with the territory, but tonight, they all feel different. I can't place it. I try to sit in the break room to take a short respite, but even here, nothing feels right. The ticking clock sounds louder, as if the second hand is too heavy for its own mechanism. I try to shift my focus, flicking through a magazine I've read 1,000 times before, but the words don't make sense. The air in the room feels thick. I can't breathe as easily as I normally do. It's like something's pressing against my chest, pulling me into the stillness. My mind is telling me I'm just tired, that it's the isolation of the night shift, the hours spent alone in a sterile, silent building. But deep down I know it's something more. I look up at the clock again, half expecting it to be the same minute, but instead, the hands are stuck, completely still. I blink, trying to convince myself I'm seeing things, but no. The second hand is frozen in place. Time has stopped. I get up quickly, my chair scraping the floor in a way that's far too loud. I walk over to the clock, a cheap plastic thing on the wall, and tap it lightly. Nothing happens. The second hand stays stuck, pointing toward the minute marker with a mechanical stillness that feels unnatural. I glance at my watch. It's the same. The hands on my watch are frozen too. I can't tell how long I've been standing there staring at the time that refuses to move. It could be minutes, or it could be hours. It feels like both, like time is stretching itself out into something that isn't real. I stand there, feeling the weight of the moment. I try to shake it off, tell myself it's nothing. Maybe the power is fluctuating, causing some kind of malfunction. I leave the break room and head back toward the morgue, where the cold, sterile air feels almost comforting. At least in there, things make sense. Bodies come in, bodies are moved. The process continues. It's routine, the only thing that keeps the confusion at bay. But even as I push open the door to the morgue, something feels wrong. The cooling units hum, but the sound is different now, muffled, like something's been altered. The air feels heavier, like it's pressing against me. I walk past the rows of metal drawers, each one a chilling reminder of what I deal with every night. I stop at the autopsy table, where the body from earlier today still lies, covered in a thin sheet. I hesitate, my fingers brushing the cold metal surface. Something catches my eye, a shadow moving out of the corner of my vision. I spin around, but there's nothing but the quiet, the unsettling quiet. I try to move back toward the door, but my feet feel like they're sinking into the floor, like gravity is pulling me down. I can't seem to make my legs work the way they should. Every step I take feels like it takes more effort, like I'm wading through something thick and heavy. The weight of the silence is unbearable. I can't breathe. It's like the air in the morgue has thickened, becoming harder and harder to draw in. My chest tightens, and for a moment, I feel like I'm suffocating, like the world is closing in around me. I try to reach for the door, but my hand doesn't seem to move the way it should. It lingers in the air, frozen. Time is stuck, and I am stuck with it. I don't know how long I stand there, caught in the unnatural stillness, but when I finally manage to move again, it's like I've just woken from a dream. The lights flicker above, and the clock on the wall resumes ticking, as if nothing had happened. My legs feel heavy as I make my way back to the break room. The magazine is still open, on the table, untouched. I look at the clock again, but it's moving now, ticking away as if it never stopped. But it feels wrong. The hands keep turning, but I know they shouldn't be. Time hasn't been right for a long time. I sit down again, my breath finally steady, but the air is still thick. I can't shake the feeling that I've never truly left the morgue, that I'm still trapped there, caught in some unending cycle of waiting for time to start again, waiting for the shift to end. But maybe it never will. Maybe I've been stuck here forever. The mirrors stretch endlessly, reflecting a version of myself I don't recognize. Each step I take only brings me further down the hallway, but I know it's the same stretch of glass. I turn, But the mirrors never turn with me. They reflect what's behind me, what's wrong with me. I'm Nina, 42, and I've worked as a night shift guard here for the past 5 years. Every night, I walk these same halls, tracing the same steps I've memorized, staring into the same mirrors that line the corridor. But tonight, something feels different. I've always known this hallway to be cold, impersonal, like a sterile passageway leading to nowhere. But tonight, the air feels heavier, thick with something I can't quite place. It's not just the faint flickering of the lights above, or the rustle of my shoes on the tiled floor. It's something in the mirrors, something about the way they reflect me, or rather, the way they don't reflect me. I've passed these mirrors countless times, never thinking much of them. They serve their purpose to reflect what's in front of them, to remind me of the endless halls stretching beyond the glass. But tonight, the reflections feel wrong. It's like I'm looking at myself from a distance, seeing a version of me that isn't quite me. In one mirror, my face looks different, more hollow, like the skin has sagged a little more than it should. In another, my eyes look too wide, too vacant. I stop walking for a moment, just staring at my own reflection. It feels like a stranger. The more I look, the less I recognize myself. I pull myself away from the mirror, taking a step forward, but the reflection doesn't change. I glance back, and sure enough, there I am, walking behind me, following my every move. It's as if the reflection isn't mine. The more I focus on it, the more it feels like someone else is standing there with me, a shadow that mirrors my every movement, but never quite matches me. I try to shake it off. It's just fatigue. I tell myself, I've been working these shifts for too long. The hospital is old, and the lights flicker in strange patterns, but something inside me tells me it's more than that. The mirrors have always been here, but tonight they feel different. It's not just the reflections, it's the way they stretch out, line after line, as if the hallway goes on forever, and I'm trapped in an endless loop, walking towards something I can never reach. I stop in front of another mirror, my reflection staring back at me. This time, I look more closely. My eyes are too wide, too sharp, and my mouth is twisted into a smile that doesn't feel like mine. I blink, and the smile disappears, replaced by my usual tired expression. But it's the eyes that bother me the most. They're empty, hollow, like they've seen too much, and have given up on finding meaning. I take a step back, and the reflection doesn't move. My heart skips a beat, as I realize I've been staring at myself for too long, too closely. My pulse quickens, and I feel a wave of dizziness wash over me. I turn away from the mirror, but the sensation doesn't leave. The hallway feels longer now, stretching out before me, the mirrors stretching with it. I tell myself to keep walking, to finish my rounds, but something about the mirrors won't let me go. I glance back again, and this time, the reflection is different. It's not me at all. There's a woman in the glass, standing where I should be, her face pale, her expression blank. She looks nothing like me, yet somehow she's staring back at me with a knowing gaze. Her eyes are vacant, hollow like mine had been moments ago. I freeze, my breath catching in my throat. I turn away quickly, my pulse racing. I can't explain it. The reflection shouldn't be there. There shouldn't be anyone standing behind me in the mirrors. The hallway's empty. I am alone. Yet the glass shows something else, something that isn't me, but is somehow connected to me. I continue walking, my footsteps louder now, echoing in the silence. The lights flicker again, and I glance back, half expecting to see the woman still there, still watching, but the mirrors are empty. I don't see her. I don't see anything at all. I stop again, unsure of what's real, and what isn't. There's something about the mirrors, something that feels like it's closing in on me, trapping me in a reflection of myself that I don't recognize. My mind races, trying to make sense of it. I can't shake the feeling that I'm being watched, that the mirrors are showing me more than I want to see. I walk faster now, trying to escape the reflection, but it's always there, just behind me in the corner of my eye, watching, waiting. I don't know how long I've been walking down this hallway. Time seems to stretch out, bending and warping in the mirror. I can feel them watching me, feel them pulling me in. The hallway never ends. The mirrors stretch on forever, reflecting a version of me that isn't me, that never was, and somehow, I know I can never escape it. The mirrors will always be there, waiting, showing me the truth I can't face, the truth that I've been running from all along. It's always quiet here, too quiet, but sometimes that silence feels wrong, like something is waiting, something that isn't supposed to be. The light above flickers intermittently, casting erratic shadows on the walls as I walk down the morgue's holding area. The smell of disinfectant lingers, sharp and sterile, but beneath it, there's a faint scent of something else, something older, something that doesn't belong. The bodies lie beneath the white sheets, each one marked with a number, but none of them are truly anonymous. Each one holds a name, a story. At least, that's what I've convinced myself of. My name is Jason, 25. I've been working as an orderly here for almost a year. I deal with the dead more than anyone else, pushing carts, lifting bodies, making sure the morgue is stocked and tidy. I used to think I'd get used to it, the constant presence of the deceased, but I never really have, not the way I thought I would. It's the silence that gets to me, the stillness that fills the room when no one else is around, when it's just me and the bodies. Tonight, though, something is different. It's more than just the usual silence. It's like the air itself has changed, thick with something that presses against my skin. I can feel the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. But when I look around, everything is the same cold metal tables, the same rows of bodies covered in white sheets. Nothing has changed. Not yet. I pass by the first body, a man, mid-40s, I think. He's been here a few hours now, waiting to be taken to the autopsy room. His sheet is pulled high up to his neck, as if to hide the marks on his skin. But they're there. I don't look too closely. I've learned not to. There's no need to get attached. No need to try to understand them. They're dead. I tell myself it doesn't matter, but tonight, as I walk past him, I hear something, faint at first, barely audible, like a whisper carried by the wind. A name, not mine. Not any of the usual names I hear in passing. This one is different. It's soft, almost pleading. The voice drifts through the air, and it feels like it's coming from somewhere close, from right behind me. I freeze for a moment, my heart skipping a beat. I turn quickly, but there's no one there. No one but the bodies, still and lifeless, just as they've always been. I swallow hard and shake it off. It's nothing. The wind. Maybe the sound of the ventilation system. Anything but what I know it could be. I keep walking, trying to push the unsettling feeling out of my mind, but the whisper lingers. The name. It repeats, this time clearer, louder. It's not a name I recognize, but somehow it feels familiar. I stop in front of another body. This one's an older woman, her skin pale and drawn tight against the bones. The room feels colder, like a chill is creeping in from somewhere deeper than the morgue. The whisper comes again, but this time, it's unmistakable. Lucy. The name echoes in the space, reverberating off the walls. filling the room with a presence that shouldn't be there. I turn around, my pulse quickening, and glance at the body of the woman. Her face is calm, too calm, but something about her strikes me as wrong. Her hands, folded gently over her chest, seem too still. The name, Lucy, continues to float in the air, echoing through the room, but there's no one to speak it, no one here to claim it. I stare at her for a long moment, my mind racing. I don't know why, but I'm drawn to her. She looks so familiar, and yet I don't know her. The name Lucy, it's like a ghost that's settled inside my head, refusing to leave. I look down at the woman's hands, wondering if I missed something. Maybe there's something written on her wrist, something that will explain this strange connection. But there's nothing. We'll try to shake it off, but the name won't leave me. It's like a weight pressing down on my chest. I walk past her, my footsteps unsteady, and the whisper follows me. It doesn't fade away. It grows louder, more insistent. Lucy. Over and over, the sound wraps itself around me, making the walls feel closer, the air thicker. I feel like I'm suffocating. I glance back one last time, and as I do, I see it. Her eyes, just barely open, staring at me. I freeze, my breath caught in my throat, but then the eyes close again, and I wonder if I imagined it. I want to run, but something keeps me rooted in place, like the room itself is holding me, like the name is binding me to it. I finally take a step forward, and the echo of her name lingers, stretching into the air around me. Lucy. The voice is softer now, almost a sigh, but it's still there, still calling. It's like the dead never truly leave. They leave pieces of themselves behind, pieces that float in the air, whispering names we can't forget. I leave the room quickly, my heart pounding in my chest, but the name stays with me. It follows me down the hallway, drifting through the corridors, echoing in the silence, and I know, deep down, that I will never be able to forget it.